You know the drill. Get ready for your snippet. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sober Living Snippets, where we live alcohol-free so we can heal up those relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. Hi, gals. Becca Jacobson here. I have a Thursday snippet for you, and today you're going to hear another voice other than mine. I'm going to share with you today a conversation I had with a client named Claudia. Claudia came into my world last December of 2024, and we've had quite a lot of fun between then and now. So I won't spoil the story for you. I'll let Claudia tell her own story. Super excited that she was willing to come share the journey with you so you can get an idea of what it's like when you come a little bit deeper into snippet land. Let's hear what Claudia has to say. Okay, so I'm super excited to introduce to you today, Claudia. Welcome to Snippet Land, Claudia.
Thank you.
I'm really happy to have you join us. I know it's really helpful for other women to hear other women's stories. So thank you for coming, Claudia. Could you tell us what your life was like before you found the show, before you talked to me, sort of your life before Snippet Land?
Sure. So I think my story starts with having gone through about a 6.5 year period of sobriety 10 years ago, and which I was super proud of. And then for some reason, snap, I just started drinking again, thinking that I was in control until slowly I wasn't. And I knew that I was losing control again and it was a problem. So currently, then I just began wondering and worrying about the health consequences of my drinking. And I would think things like going in for my yearly checkup and having to get lab tests and stuff like that. Was a liver function test, was it going to call me out? And, I just worried about that a lot. And I knew that this was no way to live the later years of my life worrying and sabotaging my health, and it was going to finally catch up with me. And then I think the other thing was that life had been quite stressful the last couple of years because we moved in our 60s to a whole new, very different location to be closer to family, and having left the life we'd created for over 30 years. And that adjustment had been really hard for me and super hard for my husband. So I also had the problem where I'd lost my sister around the same time we moved. And I was finding that alcohol was supposedly helping me cope with the move and the loss of my sister, but realized it really was a false friend like it had always been. And although I did feel like it made it easier for me to fall asleep, it had always made my next days not so good. And then just backtracking, when I quit drinking at age 49, it was like a super embarrassing blackout that forced me to confront the reality I knew I had since I started drinking in college at age 18. And I continue to have these periodic blackouts for the next 30 years. And I think right before I found the Snippets podcast, I had blacked out again at a very important wedding, despite all the promises that I'd made to myself to not either drink at all or to only have one drink. So that was kind of my life, or has been my life.
Wow, a lot I can relate to there, as you probably know, having shared my own story. That's amazing. But the first thing I want to point out is I love the way you mentioned in the later years, because I always talk about that. This is the important era of our lives. We've done our stuff. We've raised our kids. We're grandmas. It's like now is the time to really feel good and enjoy life. And who wants to be sick or worrying about alcohol? So I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. And also the blackout. I thought I was the blackout queen, but it's horrible. It's horrible, Claudia. I totally agree. So what happened next? You found the show? How did you find the show? And what was that like for you?
Well, finding the show, I just obviously was scrolling through, and I'm sure like many people that are listening, I've read dozens of how to quit books and listened to so many podcasts. And I'd even gone to like one AA meeting because my mother attained sobriety through AA. And all of these things kind of helped me get by temporarily. So the books, they're inspiring, but I never really took any action other than not drinking for that particular day or week or whatever. But I think after this incident that I described with the blackout, I went looking again because it had been a while. And then I thought found this one and it related. I'm like, okay, women, number one, I don't want to be listening to guys. I can't really relate to them most of the time. And the fact that it was older women that was attractive to me, I thought, well, I guess I'm not the only one out there that has this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so that's kind of how I found it and how I got connected.
Yeah, you found the show, and then, of course, taking that next step, and it's often the most difficult step is going from just listening to the snippets, hearing my voice, to booking that call, talking to me. That's the moment in time. What was that like for you, and what made you decide to actually do it?
Well, so I had listened and I think I, looked at a Facebook thing, which I typically don't do. I don't really like those things, but I think I went ahead and joined, just sort of scrolled through and ended up joining. And I think the reason I actually decided to come involved was that you actually reached out and, from that post and said, hey, I think I can schedule some time with you for some conversations. And so, at first I thought, wow, okay, maybe this is a little strange, but I'm gonna, I'm, I'm like, I haven't done this before, but what do I have to lose? I enjoy the podcast. Someone's reaching out. I need someone to reach out because I'm, kind of alone here. And so I decided to take the plunge and set up the one-on-one initial conversations with you. Um,
That's right, Claudia. I forgot about that. So, because I'm not doing that anymore. You were in a moment in time, I think it was back in late 2024. I was doing that, reaching out and having one-on-one conversations with women over time, which was really powerful. But I feel we get what we need when we get it. I just, so it happened for a reason. And we did spend a lot of time alone together. What was that like? And then what happened next?
I would say, well, at first it was very embarrassing because number one, I don't know you. And number two, I hadn't really admitted my drinking problem, even to doctors or therapists that I'd seen before. I kind of had kept it all inside, knowing that it needed to come out someday. But once, especially after the first conversation, and deciding to go on to the second, I felt a connection while talking to you, because from having read your book and listening to your podcast, I knew that we'd shared some similar experiences. We're both female, maybe the same sort of age category. And so it made me open up a bit and not feel so alone. Um, and I could also tell that you really cared about what you were doing and trying to help other women that were in the same boat as me.
So happy to hear that. It just touches my heart to hear. I know it's hard to reach out, and I'm so grateful to hear that you felt a connection to me. I mean, you must have. You stuck around with me for a couple of months, and you're still here in my world. So I'm just so honored to be able to help women. But you have to be able to take the first step as well, or have the courage. So, you pat yourself on the back for that, because I can't come and drag you in doing it. So then we had our one-on-one calls, and from there I invited you to join my 2-month perspectives program. What was that like for you?
Well, um, I think I was a little hesitant at first to meet with a group of strangers, but ended up really enjoying it and looked forward to meeting with the women that I was paired with, because it turned out they were not weird, they were normal. I consider myself to be normal, so there's always like, I don't know who these people are going to be, but they were wonderful. And they were just going through the same struggles, just like me, maybe living in different areas of the country or having different life circumstances. But what I learned was we could really support each other. And I felt accountable, not only to myself, but to you and to the other people that I was chatting with every week, not to drink and to do some positive life changes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is so powerful. It's sort of impossible to describe, and I talk about it all the time on the snippets, but it's kinda like you gotta be there. You gotta feel it, and that's not me and it's not you, it's something bigger. I think, we get together in the room. I'm just so glad to hear that. So what's your life like now? You've went through the program, and what do you like on the other side? What's happening?
Well, I've thought about that, and I can honestly say I think that I feel significantly calmer and maybe less reactive.
Beautiful.
And of course, I have not been drinking, so I'm super proud of that. But I just found myself when something comes up every day in life, I'm just like, oh well. I don't scream or get as upset. I think I've learned some techniques to kind of calm myself down. And I feel like I've probably become more appreciative of all the gifts I have in life, which are many. And I'm worrying a little less about myself and the fact that I'm getting older because I know there's nothing I can do about it. I think
Wow.
other things that's kind of pushed me forward with some of my goals of getting more involved in volunteerism and signing up for things that I've always wanted to do, but have maybe been a bit fearful of, that's been holding me back, realizing I only have a limited time on this earth. So I feel like um, those things have really been helpful.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you and so happy for you. I love the first thing that came to mind was I'm less reactive. That's the first thing. I mean, I talk about it on the snippets all the time, but it's also in the first week of my program is we must learn how to move into acceptance. Oh well, I love the way you said that. Oh well, I mean, life's going to happen, right? And there's no point in being emotionally overreactive. So there's so much of that in the show. So I'm really happy for you that you got that because it does give us a sense of peace. When I found that, I thought, "Oh my god, this is it, right? This is what we need to learn." So good for you. So I'm curious, what's one change you made during your time with me that you'd share with anyone struggling with alcohol?
I would say probably being able to open up to others about my struggle with
Mhm.
alcohol. So I became able to talk to a few friends about the secret world, and I really had not done this much in the past. Um, I think the other thing was I learned to fight back when I call the alcohol devil was whispering to me. I learned to fight back by maybe changing my thoughts and doing some focused breathing. Often it still happens to me, especially in the evening, because it really helped me with calming down to go to sleep. I have some sleep issues, but I kind of think about that. I think about this alcohol devil, the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other, and I just think about it that way. And I feel like I'm like, why? Why would I let this bad thing or this bad thought, just plague me every night or whatever? So I feel like I've learned to fight back.
Wow. Yeah, and it's just a thought. We think it's real, but it's just a thought. That's amazing. Good for you. So one last question. This is a surprise question. I never gave it to you ahead of time. So if you don't want to answer it, that's okay. What would you say to anyone who's trying to decide if they should reach out to me and get help?
I would say don't wait because I don't think there's any perfect time to get started, at least for myself. It was right. It was December 1st, and it was right before the holidays. So that's a terrible time to get started on a program like that. But because of what happened to me, I felt that I needed to do something. So I'd say there's no perfect time, and it took me way too long, and has caused me a lot of regret over my life. So I would say don't wait. You have no reason to wait. If you think you have a problem, you do. And
Yeah.
just get on with it. My mother told me a long time ago, when I actually surprised her by letting her know that I had a drinking problem like she did. And she said, you shouldn't be doing this alone. You need to have support. And I didn't. And I guess she was right. I hate to admit that, but I was right. So get help. It's really helpful. And this is a first step. And it's been all I can say, it's been very helpful for me. And
Thanks.
I,
Wow.
yeah, thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Well, that's what I always say because that's why I waited till I was 52 because I wanted to wait till the right time or until I felt like, okay, I feel ready. Guess what? You never feel ready. You just don't. You just, and especially, I love that December 1st. That's a terrible time to do a sobriety, but okay, and you stepped up anyway. There's just never the perfect time. You just got to plunge in. So I love that message. Thank you, Claudia. And thank you so much for coming here and sharing your story in Snippet Land with all the snippet lovers. And I'm really grateful you're in my world. Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Holy wow. Well, I think Claudia definitely said it best. Did you hear that? I mean, there's so much she said. What really got me was when she said, if you think you have a problem, you do. Don't wait. Hear, hear, Claudia. I couldn't agree more. There is no time for us to waste, gals. This chapter of our lives is ticking and ticking and ticking. So there's no reason to wait whatsoever. Oh, thank you so much, Claudia. Gals, if you want to join Claudia deeper in Snippet Land, now is a really good time to take that step. Let's be honest. How many times have you told yourself you'll cut back only to find yourself pouring another glass? How many times have you woken up with regret, promising yourself it was the last time? The truth is that nothing changes until you decide it's time. If this hit home and you're tired of feeling stuck in this cycle, it's time we spoke. And as Claudia said, when she decided to reach out, what she found was that she could tell that I really cared about what I was doing here and that I really was trying to help other women. She noticed that we were in the same boat. And gals, I hear that all the time. This is my calling. I offer free one-on-one calls where you can share your story, and together we'll talk about a personalized plan for you to finally break free. And I know this is a hard step, so I offer a $100 restaurant gift card to every woman who shows up at her call. Of course, I have a limited number of coupon books and one-on-one calls I can take each month, so now's your time to open up whatever app you're streaming this podcast on. Go to the show notes of this specific episode, click the first link that says book your call with Becca. That's going to take you directly to my personal calendar where you can pick a time that works before they're all gone. This will be the decision that changes everything for you, just like it did for Claudia and many others that came before and after her. And don't forget, I'm teaching a masterclass the day after tomorrow, Saturday, April 26th. We're going to talk about triggers and cravings, and I'm going to show you how to push through those. The link to sign up for that is also in the show notes, so now's a really good day to go to those show notes and tap those links and get yourself a little deeper into Snippet Land and finally see the changes in your life that you've been putting off and wondering about. Life is very glorious over here in the sunshiny Snippet Land. See you tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.